Hey, good day. This is Hunter Lehman with Sportable. I am the executive director, and I guess welcome to Discover Your Possible, the 2020 COVID edition. So coming at you a little bit differently than we were able to connect last year, but really happy to be together. And frankly, I just want to take an opportunity before I start speaking to thank all the wonderful people that made this possible. Dave Lawrence and his team at Mission Gait, the Hanger Clinics for their support again. COSI Talks, who have been a great partner in this. We would be remiss not to thank Robin Yoder, who is one of our athletes and is a driving force, to say the least. And just everyone behind the scenes that is making this opportunity possible this year. You know, it's a bummer, like a lot of things this year, it's a lot different. We can't come together, but the opportunity to be able to share information and hopefully for people to get some value out of this is really awesome. So. Again, Hunter Lehman was Sportable. I'm really thankful for the opportunity for us to be able to be a part of this again this year. Last year, we were part of the event. We were actually out in the parking lot, and we were able to get people in various adaptive sports equipment and get them active, and it was a great experience. This year, I guess we're going to just tell you a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and maybe some of the things that could help you in your journey to become more active. Sportable is an adaptive sports organization. We're located here in Richmond, Virginia, the world's largest small town, as I'm fond of saying. Sportable is an adaptive sports club. When I typically am out in the community talking, the easiest thing to tell people is that we serve three types of people. We serve wheelchair users, amputee, and those with visual impairments. That's the population we serve. Our youngest athlete is 3. Our oldest athlete is 83. So it's a pretty wide spectrum, and it's also a really wide range of ability levels. We've been doing that work here in the Richmond area since 2005, so this is our 15th year. Our work is really important, and it's important for a variety of reasons, right? I mean, health and wellness, physical activity, exercise, all those things are important for a lot of documented reasons. For the population we serve, the physical activity, the exercise component tends to lead to more independence. It reduces the social isolation factor, it reduces depression. I think that's very, very important for the population that we serve. It creates a social network, and a lot of times not just for the athletes, but also for the parents, particularly of the youth athletes that we serve. You're talking about a lot of families that are going through a lot of the same trials and tribulations. So to create that social network, there's a lot of value in that. We have found through surveys and through research that our athletes tend to be more connected to their community. That's a huge value, I think, to our programming. Particularly on the youth side, we tend to teach and hopefully kids acquire skills that they will use in their daily living, like in their everyday life. So it's a skill they can take with them forever. And that is, frankly, that's awesome. It's to be able to see that as a result of the programming that we offer. Long term, I think any kind of physical activity, it reduces the chance of medical complications from lack of mobility. And we see that at every age. And we've actually seen that quite a bit with our walking program, although it's relatively new. Just to see those individuals get out and get that exercise, there's going to be a lot of long-term benefits in terms of their quality of life, as well as the social indications. It also does a lot to throw off chronic pain, so we can reduce that or reduce the onset of that. So from a medical standpoint, it's really awesome. Frankly, it's an opportunity for exercise. So for the athletes that we serve, 95% of those athletes don't have the opportunity to compete in organized sports without us. So we're kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of those folks. So it's really important. And then finally, I would say inclusion. Inclusion is really, it's important. Here in Richmond, Virginia, we're a very big sports town. And, we have pushed as a community to become a very active town, just trying to be on the forefront of kind of the health and wellness movement. That's been, it's really spearheaded by a group called the Sports Backers here, which is the Sports Commission. But you see it just in terms of the daily exercise routines of a lot of our citizens, how active we are through parks and recs, and through our parks, through our river downtown. And we think our mission is really important because if we're going to be an active community, we have to be an active community for everyone. And that includes all citizens. And I feel like our work is really important because we provide that opportunity to folks that wouldn't otherwise have it. So it's important not only for our population, but I think for our community. So that's a little bit about our work and about Sportable and why what we do is important. Now to talk about you and maybe what you can do to become more active in your communities. So hopefully there's an organization like us in your community, but to the extent there isn't, there are probably resources for you to take advantage of. One of the first things you can do is reach out to your medical professionals. That's one of the things that we do. We reach out to the hanger clinics of the world, and we reach out to therapeutic practices. We reach out to orthopedic facilities. We reach out to any kind of a rehab facility. We need to make sure that the occupational therapists and the recreational therapists know about our services, because then they can pass it on to their clients and to their parents and to all their patients. It's really important that they know. Because they're a good source of resources, or they're a good source of identifying athletes. They're also a great source for volunteers. So we're very active in that community. So you can start there. In a lot of communities, parks and rec departments are very in tune to the needs of adaptive recreation opportunities. Here, I would say at the forefront of that, Chesterfield and Henrico are becoming a lot more in tune with that. The city of Richmond is a great partner for us, but all those folks know about our services. They can refer them. Chances are in your community, your parks and recs folks will know folks too. The YMCA, which is a great partner for us here locally, they've obviously got locations all over the country. They've been a great partner, and chances are they've got programming options that are adaptive. And then finally, at least in our community, we've had a lot of success with our children's hospital, and then also the rehabilitation hospital that is here. And the rehabilitation hospital here is relatively new, but there's been a rehabilitation medical group called Sheltering Arms that has been here for a long time. But going specifically to those groups, and then kind of similar to that, to the therapist on the first point, but just making sure that you talk to the folks that are in the know so that they can understand what resources might be around. On a national level, there's a group called Move United that is a leader in adaptive sports, and you can go to their website, Move United. You can find other clubs and other organizations that might offer services in your neighborhood. The USOPC is a great resource, and they also have various clubs that are identified, that are affiliated with the national group. And then finally, of those 13 core programs that we offer, virtually all of them have national governing bodies. Listen, a 20-minute Google search on your computer, you can find national governing bodies, you can find adaptive resources. Just off the top of my head, the Quad Rugby Association, the Wheelchair Basketball Association, U.S. Track and Field, U.S. Swimming, all of those groups have resources for adaptive athletes. And that's a big thing. And then my last point is this, is that around me, I'm here in our Sportable office, you can see tons of adaptive equipment. So equipment tends to be a big barrier, especially for first-time athletes. They're coming into a new setting. One thing about adaptive sports is that you need adaptive equipment to have a safe, fulfilling, and just a really good experience. There are some organizations, hopefully you can find a local organization that will let you try equipment, but to the extent that you need to source your own, you'll find that it's very expensive. However, we have found that the Challenged Athlete Foundation, which is a group I believe out of California, they provide opportunities where you can apply for funding to get your own equipment. We've also had a lot of success with the Kelly Brush Foundation. Now, Kelly Brush, I believe, tends to focus on SCI, which is spinal cord injuries. There's also the Nielsen Foundation, which also specializes in spinal cord injuries. But there are other resources for identifying equipment needs that you can find. And again, a Google search might even lead more for you, particularly from your community foundation or from a local network that coordinates philanthropic opportunities in your communities. So there's lots of information out there. Hopefully this has been somewhat helpful. If you'd like to learn more about our organization, what we offer, you can go to sportable.org. You can see more information about all of our programs. And I'd be more than happy for you to reach out. My contact information is directly on our website. Shoot me an email, whether it's me or someone on my staff. Would be happy to answer any questions and hopefully point you in the right direction in order to get active, get healthy, and put you on the path towards a better lifestyle. So again, my name is Hunter Lehman with Sportable. I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks again to everybody that made this possible. And hopefully I'll be able to see you in person in 2021. Thanks so much.